Okay, welcome to a class on complex gerunds and complex 2 plus infinitives. Paying no attention to that. We're going to do complex 2 plus infinitives and complex gerunds, and even a little bit on participles, which we haven't mentioned yet, but I will introduce them today. Now, we looked at gerunds, infinitives and 2 plus infinitives in the previous class, and we learned that we use 2 plus infinitives after adjectives, and we will see them again today. We use gerunds after prepositions, and we will see that again today. And we use bare infinitive after modal verbs. However, it's not just the bare infinitive must do that we use after modal verbs. We can also use these other forms, and we have seen this in a previous class. We saw this when we were looking at other exotic forms of the passive. So we can say must do. We can also say must be doing, which is a continuous aspect. Yeah, this one's a simple aspect. This one's a continuous aspect, must be doing. This one's the perfect simple aspect, must have done. And this one's the perfect continuous aspect, must have been doing. But then there's 2 passive forms as well. There's simple passive, must be done. And there's perfect passive, must have been done. Yeah, and it's not really important to learn all the names, not in my opinion anyway, although the names do make sense to me. These are the 4 aspects, and these are 2 passive forms, that passive from simple and passive from perfect. Okay, so you have all of those forms with modal verbs, and you do see all of those forms with modal verbs, and we've seen why as well. We've already studied why. So let's get rid of the must or the can or the would or the should or the will, because those forms work with all modal verbs. And let's look at complex 2 plus infinitive, because I'm pleased to say that complex 2 plus infinitive looks exactly the same. To do, to be doing, to have done, to have been doing, to be done, to have been done are the 6 forms of complex infinitive. Yeah, so this is what we're looking at today: complex infinitive and complex gerund. But let's look at complex infinitive first, because complex infinitive is harder. And what do I mean complex infinitive? I just mean the infinitive in 4 different aspects, and the 2 passive forms as well. I mean all of this complex stuff. Yeah, it's complex. There's 6 different forms there that we can see, 6 different forms of the verb that you can see in infinitive, and also with modal verbs. So when do we use these complex infinitives? Well, I've written down 3 different situations when you see the complex infinitive, although there is one more that I haven't mentioned that I think I will mention in a second. Now, number 1, we've already studied, but I don't think I gave you a list of verbs like that, because these verbs you very often see. He is believed to have been a tall man. We are expected to have completed the project by the end of the month. We hope to have completed the project by the end of the month. Sorry, these are down here. These are often used in the passive form when we say it is hoped, it is believed, it is reported, it is said, it is thought, or the suspect is understood, the victim is suspected. So we see it is hoped, but we see he is thought to have been, he is said to have been. So these verbs are the ones where you see after certain passive forms. These verbs, guys, yeah, they're the only ones that I could think of, although that one is also a good one, to be rumoured. So he is reported to have been found by rescuers. Yeah, we can do it because of this he is reported, and it's on our list. The suspect is rumoured to be hiding locally. That means right now to be hiding, because it's continuous aspect. Yeah, it's not perfect passive like this one. He is reported to have been found by rescuers. Okay, so that's one place where you see all 6 of these forms. And I want to quickly mention actually that you see the simple passive, this one. in all sorts of areas. Yeah, you don't need just one of these three situations to use simple passive. You can use it after any verb that takes 2 plus infinitive. So I want, you could say, maybe not want, I need to take this test, or this test needs to be taken. Yeah, I need to take this test needs to be taken. So the passive simple is possible in almost any situation with almost any verb. But these other ones, especially the perfect forms, but even the continuous form as well, but the perfect forms in particular, you only really see them after certain passive forms. That's when you see them, after certain passive forms, and also, yeah, we're using these verbs that we've already seen in passive, but also after adjectives. I am delighted to have already met him. Now, you can say, I am delighted to meet you. That means right now. But you can also say, I am delighted to have met him at the concert last week. And it sounds better to my ears when you put a timestamp there and explain last week. It sounds better than to use that. And this already is a signal for perfect tenses, isn't it? We've looked at it already. We have looked at it already. And we decided that this is a signal word for perfect tenses. So I am delighted to have already met him, to my ears, sounds much better than I'm delighted to already meet, which sounds wrong to me, to have already met him. So we use it after adjectives like delighted. Here's another example. Sorry, it was childish to have ignored you. Now, notice that when you use this, to have ignored, it sounds like you're going back earlier than that it was childish, yeah? It sounds like it's something which has already been done. And so this is the perfect form. It was childish to have ignored you. And we could use the continuous form if we mean now, yeah? I am happy right now to be teaching you English. To be teaching, yeah? This is the continuous form, yeah? So it doesn't have to be one of the perfect forms, but the perfect forms make it sound like an earlier complete action. Yeah, and you very often see them with these signal words as well. Okay,